Cristobal Balenciaga, Master of Tailoring, is at SCAD Fash through June 2nd, honoring the legendary Spanish designer and haute couturier Cristobal Balenciaga. This exhibit will showcase over 30 rarely seen garments, illustrations, and photographs from the late 1940s to 1968. The exhibit will examine the designer's experimentation with form, presenting a variety of silhouettes to highlight his mastery and inventive approach to fashion, including exquisite gowns worn by Elizabeth Taylor and more. Cristobal Balenciaga, Master of Tailoring, is curated exclusively for SCAD Fash. Find out more at scadfash.org.
At a time when information continues to come at us faster and faster, sometimes you need to hit pause and rewind. NPR's Throughline takes you back in time to the source of the news stories filling your feed. Find NPR's Throughline wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm WABE contributor and AJC senior editor Mike Jordan.
And I'm Sammy Purcell, associate editor with Rough Draft Atlanta.
And this is How Do You Atlanta?
Let's take a look at what's going on in the city this week. What do you got for us, Mike?
All right, we're going to start at home, which they say all charity should begin with, but Read Across Atlanta. Guess what? That is a WABE event. It's a citywide storytelling event uniting independent bookstores and public libraries across the metro Atlanta area. And so this is in partnership with these bookstores and libraries, so there'll be simultaneous storytelling sessions all around the city. And this goes as far as Cherokee County, the Foxtail Bookshop with 2 P's and an E. The Cobb County's Book Miser in Marietta, Bookworm in Powder Springs, all sorts of bookstores all around the city, including the Scott Candler Library. And what you can expect at these events are engaging storytelling experiences from notable Atlantans with local voices, fun activities and bookish surprises for children of all ages, and community spirit of celebrating the power of reading. And this also goes with WABE's new Storytime podcast, the podcast where they read stories. So this is one day all around the city, all at the same time on March 16th. And for more information, you can go to wabe.org/events.
That's awesome. And the podcast that it's associated with is geared at little kids, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is so interesting. You don't hear about podcasts for little kids.
Yeah. I mean, and funny enough, back when I was a radio personality in the booming town of Huntsville, Alabama, I had a radio show on Saturday mornings, and I used to have this little segment I called the Saturday Morning Cartoon Click. And kids would call up and tell me what cereal they were eating and also what cartoons. And they were geeked out of their minds on all this,
so cute.
Like Fruity Pebbles and stuff.
Yeah.
So kids need to have like podcasts. We need more kids on podcasts and listening to podcasts. All right, Sammy, what do you have next?
Well, you know what's coming up this weekend. We've got the Atlanta St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 16th. So the parade is actually celebrating its 140th running year since 1858, which is pretty wild. That's a really long running parade. Apparently, it's one of Atlanta's longest running events. So get out there and celebrate this year, 140. So the parade officially starts at noon, but you want to be sure to arrive by 11 a.m. for your best viewing opportunities along the route. It's going to start off of Peachtree Street in Midtown, and you can actually download a map online to try to find a good viewing spot, to try to figure out where you and your family need to be to have that optimal view. So they're encouraging everyone to consider taking MARTA and using either the Midtown stop or the Art Center stop. But if you need to drive, they've also got a list of parking decks that are around and open that you can check out online as well. So again, that's the Atlanta St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 16th. Wear your best green and get out there.
It's going to smell like beer out there because people are going to be walking too. And, they're going to be, if the weather is warm, it's going to get into the air.
If it's warm, people are going to start. This is like right around when it starts to get warm, like right as spring is heading in, like the first day it's really warm. People go crazy.
Yeah, they do. They wear very little clothing and it's going to be little green clothing, but there's going to be the smell of ale all in the air. But it's a good time. I mean,
it'll be fun.
Georgia really puts on for St. Patrick's Day, Savannah and Atlanta. So it's always a good thing to see people having fun.
Absolutely. All right, what else do you have for us?
All right, next is Historic Main Street College Park's Wine Stroll. So anyone who's been to Main Street in College Park knows it's a very, very walkable and strollable little strip. It's beautiful. And so this is going to be an evening of wine tasting and strolling along that historic Main Street corridor. So there'll be a lot of businesses along Main Street and Virginia Avenue where you'll be able to go and try out all kinds of different wines. It's going to commence at a spot called The Depot. That's at 3724 Main Street. But you'll get a wine glass and it grants you unlimited pours at any participating business on Main Street and Virginia Avenue. So you can unwind, savor the wine, and explore the charm of this little beautiful Tri-Cities area. Don't miss out on the event. It happens on March 14th in Main Street College Park. You can get tickets and information at eventbrite.com.
Unlimited pours. That's a great deal.
It is.
That'd be nice.
But, these wine strolls do that. I mean,
Yeah,
Castleberry
yeah.
Hill, you go in and you have a wine glass. People don't count. They're just
Yeah,
kind of like, all right,
that's
well, you
true.
got a wine glass. I guess it needs
You
wine.
got it. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's empty. Fill it up.
It's really over there by Rugby Avenue and over there, you can look across and you can see Woodward Academy. But Main Street College Park is such a nice little cool area. And then, of course, the MARTA station is there. So after you had your wine, you can take MARTA and get back wherever you're going safely, folks. So take advantage.
This is How Do You Atlanta. I'm Sammy Purcell, and we'll be right back after this break.
Support for WABE comes from 100 Miles, a nonprofit committed to preserving Georgia's 100-mile coast. A landscape unlike any other, Georgia's coast is home to vital communities and people from all walks of life fighting to protect it. Help keep Georgia's coast flowing at ourgeorgiacoast.org.
Sounds Like ATL is a music documentary series that takes an in-depth look at the artists amplifying Atlanta's famed music community. Built around a desire to highlight Atlanta's diverse and world-renowned music scene, each episode features unforgettable, intimate musical performances by fresh new musical guests, each with exclusive interviews about the stories behind their music. Listen to Sounds Like ATL Saturday evenings at 7 on WABE and WABE.org.
All right, Sammy, what do you have next?
Well, we've got some more St. Patrick's Day stuff coming up. So Kegs and Eggs Brunch is on March 17th in the Virginia Highland neighborhood. So get up early on March 17th for a St. Patrick's Day brunch block party in the neighborhood with 9 bars and restaurants. So if you don't know, Virginia Highland has some of the best brunch spots in Atlanta, and they're going to have an all-day brunch party for St. Patrick's Day, including complimentary themed Irish beverages, shot and brunch items, plush Irish-themed food and drink specials, party breads, and more. So you can register for this event at Neighbors Pub on the day, anytime from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and then the event will actually go from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So even if you're a little late, you'll be able to register until that 3 p.m. time. There's also a map with all the food and drink offerings that'll be given out to you when you register. And participating restaurants and bars include places like Neighbors, Dark Horse, Farm Burger, Sweet Auburn Barbecue, and more. And you can find a full list online. So we'll have that link in our show notes for everyone to check out. So again, that's the St. Patrick's Day Kegs and Eggs Brunch on March 17th, all along Virginia Highland.
Have bread and also
Have
drink
bread.
water.
I
Yes.
feel like we give that advice a lot.
Yeah, we do, because we talk a lot about the wonderful
We do.
imbibement opportunities in
Yes.
Atlanta. But I mean, again, just eggs and beer. So again, brunch. Make sure
Yeah.
you're putting something down there that's going to take care of all that green beer.
Absolutely. All right, what else do you have for us this week?
All right, next we have the ADAC Spring Sample Sale. If you are someone who likes furniture shopping, you will love this event because it's a lot of unique and very rare finds, very designer kind of stuff. So it's an opportunity to take advantage not only of this very cool designer brand high-end indoor stuff, but it's discounted pricing for this sale. So it's March 20th through 22nd, and you're going to go to the ADAC showrooms, and you'll get to see all of this interesting stuff from brands like Hibachi Designs and Atelier. We have made goods and little bar carts, rugs by a company called Stark. So it's a lot of very cool things, and this happens on 3 days from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, March 20th through 22nd at the ADAC showrooms. And for more information, you can go to adacatlanta.com to get in on the spring sample sale.
That's great. You know, my roommate just bought a table, and I'm like, man, you should have waited. could have gone to this. I'm going to tell everyone I know who has a house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and, there's a lot of people who, when you get there and you see even the discounted prices, you may say, but you won't find some of this stuff anywhere else. So it's definitely worth going just to peep out some things and seeing what your personal style is in your home or apartment. You can still put furniture in an apartment.
True.
I hope so. So, but yeah, it's a really cool event. And if you're in interior design, you should definitely go check it out because it at least gives some ideas and inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Sammy, what do you have next?
Well, coming up on March 17th, we've got the Women's Comedy Film Festival at Limelight Theater. So this festival is a live theatrical screening event for independent films featuring female filmmakers, actors, directors, writers, and producers from all over the world. So this is a really great opportunity for female filmmakers to showcase their talents right here in Atlanta, one of the world's fastest growing film communities. The festival also recognizes exceptional filmmaking and screenwriting with awards and nominations from its judging panel. So there'll be an opportunity for that as well. And if you go online, you'll be able to find an official selection list of all the films that will be playing, along with ticket information. And I believe we'll have that link in our show notes for everyone to check out. So again, that's March 17th, the Women's Comedy Film Festival at the Limelight Theater.
Very cool event. I've been to this before. I believe Caroline King is the homie who puts this on. She also does a lot of beer stuff. I know we talk about beer a lot. But yeah, it's very cool to, again, see these films and to realize just how much we appreciate humor when it comes from women, which women are actually intellectually humorous and have jokes. But it's a great event. If anyone's not been before, I highly recommend this one.
Yeah, absolutely. We have wit versus, I don't know,
dumbness. Yeah. Run into a wall kind of dude.
Exactly.
Thing.
Which, there's a time and place. There's a time and place.
But women don't run into walls, like that doesn't happen.
No.
No. Dudes are always bumping their heads, falling, and we laugh because
hence the dumb humor.
Yeah. All right, that does it for this week's edition of How Do You Atlanta. For more on these and other great events all around the city, go to howdoyouatlanta.com. How Do You Atlanta is a joint production of WABE and Rough Draft. This podcast is produced by Crystal Devone with editing from Scotty Crow, WABE's Vice President of Audio. You can find links to all these events in the podcast show notes.
WABE.
Sounds Like ATL is a music documentary series that takes an in-depth look at the artists amplifying Atlanta's famed music community. Built around a desire to highlight Atlanta's diverse and world-renowned music scene, each episode features unforgettable, intimate musical performances by fresh new musical guests, each with exclusive interviews about the stories behind their music. Listen at wabe.org or wherever you find your podcasts.